I have had a fuck ton going on. My life has just been... Well, what I really need is a job. And to try and solve my problem of unemployment, currently I am Steve Jobless. I've got the trim. If you were to put me in a turtleneck and sweater, it'd be identical to the man himself. I need a job. I don't have no money, but I'm approaching the point of brokenness. Not rapidly, but I need money. Everyone needs money to survive. What is money? Time is money. What does that really mean? But it's very true. Everyone knows it. It's very, very true that time is money, but I don't think people understand it. The only way you're going to get money is by providing value and pretty much nothing else to other people. You're either going to provide them value or you're going to save them time. And time is the only truly limited resource. Pretty sure Warren Buffett said that. And that means that it's the only thing that you can actually save people. If I'm providing you value with say you ask me, how do I build a fucking car? And I'm a mechanic. And because of that, I know how to assemble a Ferrari and deassemble it and reassemble it into a Lamborghini or something like that. You could have done that. You could have gone to car mechanic university or Googled it. Something like ChatGPT did. This is the crazy thing about AI. Knowledge now has just become free. And you could have gone and found out that for yourself. It's not that was impossible for you to do. It just saves you the time of doing it. So really time is all there is, and time is all we have. That's kind of poetic in a way. Yeah, time is money. So if I can save you time, I get money. Great. How do I save you time? And that's what I've been trying to figure out. That was the result of maybe a week-long process of first principles thinking about money. And just on and off, I was thinking damn, there's got to be a way, a directly proportional relationship, which means that if I increase this side of the equation by this, I also get an increase on the other side. So for example, a directly proportional relationship is going to be the amount of your height and your chances of being in the NBA. That's a pretty good one. And so the taller you are, the higher chance you have of being in the NBA, or the shorter you are, the less chance you have in the NBA. It doesn't work exactly the same in reverse, but it doesn't matter. That's a good example. And so, so I need to be able to save people time. And I was like, okay, well, there's certain ways you can do that. I don't really have many skills. I'm good at maths. I'm good at physics. I've got an education. I don't have A-levels as of yet. I've got an exam in 2 days. That's one of the things that I have going on. I've got my A-levels going on. And I don't plan on going to university, in my opinion. The amount of time and money you spend going there, it doesn't... I'm just thinking, would I rather have 30 grand or the degree? I'd rather have 30 grand. I think that's a pretty black and white way of thinking about it. That's a pretty big thing. A lot of people disagree with me on. And my sort of 30 grand thing is a very oversimplified way of talking about that. So take everything there with a grain of salt. Don't get too annoyed about it. Or do, and I don't know, just start raging. But it's not for your benefit. So I need a job. How do I provide value to people? Well, I could I could do sales. That was my first thought. And so I went out, applied to a bunch of sales jobs. Volume is the thing that seems to be great. Volume is a great thing for sales. If you do enough volume of anything, you'll get what you want. That's just how it works. Do enough reps of anything, and you'll be able to do anything. As long as you have to pick that thing to do the reps of. If I do a million billion push-ups, I'm not going to be able to suddenly write Shakespeare level literature. But if I did reps of Shakespeare level literature and I was shit, and I did it again and again and again and again and again, and I just kept going, eventually, and it's not people ask the wrong question too many times of, well, how many reps does it take? We don't fucking know. You just do it. Just do it. And then one day you just wake up and you're like, oh shit, I just wrote Shakespeare. But it's almost like a byproduct of just working. So I got a sales job, but then had to quit it. That's okay. But I'm just, in terms of numbers here, I'm just bear in mind that I'm very sweaty currently. Like, it's very hot in the UK. I've got jeans on right now, and a white t-shirt. White t-shirts are supposed to like reflect sunlight, but I'm pretty sure black ones are actually better because they create like a convection, like they like suck in the heat and it goes up and then out like that. Do we know? No, we don't. It doesn't matter. So, like, what do I do? How am I gonna make money, provide value? And it's like, okay, well, let me just reach out to a bunch of entrepreneurs. I reached out to a guy called, I'm actually not going to say it. And I said, I was on call with him on Instagram, and I was saying, okay, like, can you help me out? And he's like, oh, I kind of got jobs as developers and stuff, but you don't really have the training. No, it was like, we have jobs for like email, like admin guys, but like, you seem like you're too qualified for that. So let me reach out, like, so do you want to have a go as a developer? I explained like this, like my experience and stuff. I didn't have experience as a developer. That's why I explained it. But I was like, okay, I'm a fast and I'm like, you give me something and I'll work through it. And I was like, great, I'll send you through a project on Notion. I didn't know what that was previously. That's just like a fancy version of Google Docs that all the business people use, it would seem. And that's one of the things that you learn through the reps. If I said, oh, I want to say become a... You can't do a vague goal, by the way. If you would say, oh, I want to be a millionaire, okay, what reps do you take to be a millionaire? Because there's a million different paths. There's billion, you can do anything. But yeah, and it's small stuff like the Notion thing that even if I had like a blueprint to be a millionaire, like, and I had come up with that myself, I don't know about Notion, but it seems that like a lot of people use Notion now. So by just jumping in and getting going and just getting like some reps of something, you just kind of absorb information. It was the same with when I did sales training. One of the first things they said is, when we pay you, you should not set up like this official... you should set up a business. You should set up a company in your name. You should make yourself CEO of the company and also an employee of the company. That means you can claim like dividends on the company and pay yourself out of the company. Dividends, you can get paid 50,000 untaxed for. In the UK, you can get paid 12,500 grand before minimum wage. I am incredibly sweaty. Please forgive me. And then we'll pay you £12,500 as well. So that means that you have £75,000 total tax-free. And usually in the UK, it's 12.5 grand, which is ridiculous. That means if I paid you, like matching the tax brackets, 75 grand, and like it was subject to tax, I think you get like £60,000. It might be 65. It's either 56 or 65. I'm pretty sure it's within that range. It might be 50. That's not good. But the point is, you save money. And I didn't know that. And I couldn't have known that unless I jumped in and just got going, even though the job amounted to nothing. I've gained that knowledge. I'm better because of it. And that's good. In the future, it can be implemented again. And one of the things I discovered from this project was that I had put myself into the deep end. I had no idea. I'd never coded a website before. I coded like very, very basic HTML, ChatGPT, Gemini assisted shitness, actual shitness. And now I had said to a company, or a startup, I want to make you guys, I want to get on your development team and actually be involved and do something. And they said, yeah, sure. And I was like, fuck, okay, well, I'm screwed. But I knew if that I could do it, I'd be like goated. I don't want to be useless, bald James. I want to be useless, bald Steve Jobs James. I don't want to be Steve Jobless. I want to be Steve Jobs. Because it's true. And so I was like, okay, well, let's just find a way to do it. So I hop into ChatGPT, Gemini, messing around. This is a great thing about AI. I didn't have to do it. Even with AI, like the resource I already had, I didn't know how to use it properly, like that well. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, I'm just struggling. I'm just really, really struggling. But it's because I'd never before. I'd had to learn the skills of like, they'd given me a proper spec. I've like flirted with the idea of making apps and stuff in the past, and I have never put anything that you could put to market. But seeing the difference in the way that these my face is incredibly sweaty. I do apologise. I just have to make sure it doesn't go in my eyes, because otherwise the salt, my gaze is so fiery that the water would immediately evaporate and I would get salt crystals forming on my eyes. And it would mean that it would give me a piercing look for sure, but it would also pierce my own eyeballs and that would hurt a lot. And yeah, to see a real professional spec for an app was great, objectively a good thing. I was like, holy shit, like these are the levels. Like I'm now getting something that could work. And I was like, okay, well, I put it into Gemini, messed around with ChatGPT for a few days, and I had 4 days to complete this, and I spent like the first 2 doing it with these things. I was like, fuck, like I literally just, it was broken, there were logic errors and stuff like that, and it was basically, I copied the main spec into ChatGPT, it would spit something out to run, and then I would just copy back and forth the errors as it made changes and iterations, and I would go, okay, so there's a thing called Supabase, which I didn't know about, now I know about it. There was a thing called Next.js, which is a coding language I didn't know about, now I know about it, because I put myself in a situation where I was forced to learn these things, and I took these things as I used them and discovered them, and if Supabase gave me an error and it was like, oh, we can't do this for whatever reason, just copy. I don't know what that means because I don't know what's been going on before, but I was the middleman. I copy and pasted it, put it into ChatGPT or Gemini, then it spat back out, and eventually it just wasn't really working. It was too long. I think AIs accumulate errors and stuff like that. For example, when you're talking to an AI and it says, oh, we've got an error here, and I say fix it. I saw something about this on Instagram, and it tries to fix it, doesn't fix it, just fix it again. Now when it reads through the chat history, it's like got a bunch of dead, not working code it has to come through, and it just gets clogged up, which isn't good. It isn't good for me, it isn't good for anyone, it's not useful. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to need to try something a little bit different then. And I got Claude Code. It was really good. This was like, I knew that if I could do well on this project, the price of Claude Code would be easily subsided or subsidized, whatever. The cost of doing this well, if I got a job, would pay for Claude Code. It's like, well, Claude Code enables me to do it well. So it did. And that's good. It got me like to take the leap from previously using unpaid AI to paid AI, which in hindsight is excellent. It's excellent. And I remember putting that prompt in, literally just, again, the main master prompt, not all of like the little gibberish I've been tinkering with after, and it spat out something immediately that was miles better than ChatGPT or Gemini. I was like, fucking hell, this is amazing. I remember sitting in my bedroom at 2 a.m. and just thinking like, wow. And I really enjoyed it. There were 3 nights there that I just stayed up until 4 a.m. Just coding. Well, again, just being the middleman to go back and forth. But I was like really happy. I was building something, and I submitted it to the dude. I thought it was literally perfect, and they said like, "Oh, it's great. Like, it was a really good project." But you don't have enough experience. I was like, fucking hell, man. Like, you knew that before you asked me to do this project for you. But again, like, I'm very grateful because of the project, now I like have my horizons broadened and stuff into what I can use and code with AI. I've all these app ideas I've had in the past. I really think that now there's the technology out there to leverage it, and I'm going to have to make it work. Somehow I'm going to have to make it work. I've applied to literally hundreds of jobs and haven't got an offer back. Jobs that are based in Poland. And so, yeah, but we're gonna have to make it work by trusting God. And this is all for a reason. Like, I've had, if I didn't quit the sales job, or like gonna get made to quit, I wouldn't have like kept pursuing app development stuff. If I didn't keep doing that, I wouldn't have got into the startup thing, which could have gone well. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have learned this. And now I'm just waiting for the next thing. And I know I'm flipping a coin and I have to hit heads, because otherwise, like, my life is fucked. But yeah, just trusting God. One of the things the startup guy did say is that, like, it was quite funny out of context. He said, we can't accept you because you don't have the experience. But really, like, it's not out of like that we're not hiring you. Like, you're not meant. Some people aren't meant for employment. And I was like, fuck. But it was like, you're meant for something more. Like, I seen you someone that can make a business. The guy could be LARPing. Okay? This. I completely agree. Maybe he is, right? But it doesn't better my belief or position to believe that I don't have the capacity to do something like this. I've always thought that like I could do a lot of big stuff, and I want to do a lot of big stuff. And employment really does cap you. A lot of people I've spoken to just say like, oh, I mean, I remember speaking to someone when I went around like their house for the first time, and just like making chit chat with their parents, and I was like, oh, so what do you do for work? Like, oh no, they come back from work. It's like, oh, how's your day at work? Do you enjoy it? And they like laughed and like, oh. And then literally the other day, my mate's dad said like, work isn't meant to be enjoyed. Your life's meant to be enjoyed. So like literally, objectively, like that. I'm not gonna. That would be it would be a shame. But people take on these responsibilities, and not that it isn't honourable. Not that it isn't honourable. I'm more than willing to sacrifice sort of my well-being and stuff just to work, so I can provide a stable, like reliable sort of place. Which right now is going to be an apartment in Poland, maybe a cat, which would be very nice. But it's not wrong for the entrepreneur dude to say that you're sacrificing the potential for so much more. And I agree. He's like, why am I saying no when I know what you really just need now is money in Poland, money to live in Poland. I'm so sweaty, because I see you're meant for more. And yeah, like I'm well aware that I could have done more if he was offering me a job and accepted it. But I'm so sweaty, so I'm gonna stop there. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, that's just a quick life update. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful time.